Welcome to the Easy with Franzese podcast, also part of the Run with Skill podcast franchise. We are back after 2 weeks, of course, the usual 2 week recording. Richard is back in the house. How are you doing, Richard? What's happened this week?
I'm doing well, thanks, Damian. Exercise-wise, what's happened this week is one gym session, which has been good, but
Boom.
That's been it. Oh, I did do some foam rolling on my hip, which has got a lot of work to do. But when I did go to the gym, I did kind of a progressive. I don't want to say run because I'm a cross trainer, but I'm kind of resetting a bit. Did 10 minutes easy, 10 minutes steady, 10 minutes hard, 3 minutes easy recovery, and then a 5-minute hard, and then a warm down for like 7 or 8 minutes to take it to 45 minutes total. And I did a series of just upper body exercises, just to kind of keep working on that, doing that one pull-up. So yeah, it's been a lot of work lately, and I just haven't had as much motivation to go to the gym. That being said, oh no, I forget. Last Sunday I did go for like a 3-hour walk.
Okay.
So I was moving. I probably forgot a gym session I did somewhere but didn't record it. But suffice to say, it's been a light week or a light 2 weeks. But I'm not fussed. I'm going to go to the gym today and get back on some mixture between cardio and strength work and go from there.
And you,
that's me. That's quite succinct.
Sorry, quickly before you mentioned off air that you're going to have a good break now. You plan to get some training back in the next couple of weeks, so hopefully that should see you back on track with your training.
Yeah, and I'm optimistic. That's why I'm not so down about doing a bit less lately. So I'm going to go for work next week to Pennsylvania, where my head offices are. So that's going to be a bit difficult just because new scenery, but and it'll be busy. But I'll do something, and then I've got 2.5 weeks off, so I'll be able to spend quite a bit of time focusing on exercising and moving, and yeah. So
nice.
It'll be good. Hopefully, the next time we speak, I'll have more to report.
Good stuff.
There was one piece of good news.
Okay.
When I did do the strength work, so I did some like seated row, I did some lateral pull down things, just all upper body stuff and back stuff. I am no weaker than the last time I went in the gym. So whatever has been done is assimilated, and I've just started where I left off with all the exercises. So
when did you last go?
Oh, it would have been 2 Saturdays ago. So it would have been about a 10-day break between gym sessions. So I knew where I stopped, and I kind of built up to it with a few sets. And then when I did some of the stuff I was doing at the top end last time, it was really quite manageable.
That's great. And
I feel stronger.
I found that as well. I think, as long as you keep the gaps quite small between heavy lifting, you can maintain pretty well. So, good stuff.
Yeah. So that's me. How about you?
Yes, I've managed to continue training reasonably consistently last 2 weeks. I haven't really, my global volume hasn't really gone up. It's kind of been the same, but I've got a little bit more running in. So the week, if I go through what I've done, it's been generally 2 sessions in the gym at least, sometimes 3. Running, I'm trying not to double day still, just to manage the Achilles. So I got on the track for a very short session, more just to see where I'm at and just to run quickly, because it's been quite a lot of snow here. So it's quite hard to run, even do strides anywhere other than.
Yeah. So what did you do specifically when you got back onto the tracks? I know your Achilles has been part of the issue, right?
Yeah. So I have. I have been doing where I can on bits of road, some strides, and there's been no reaction. I've been doing I've had to do drills again in some places, maybe indoors. So there's been no reaction from that. I've done some light plyometrics as well. There's been no reaction. So actually, I went in and I did some strides. I did a proper warm up, drills, strides, no problem. Then I thought I'd just do some 200 at. I was going for around sort of 3K effort, so not super fast, but just something kind of faster than I've been running. That was fine. So then I decided to do 3 sets of pretty much, yeah, 2 800s, but 300 on, 100 off, running sort of 5 to 10K efforts. And that felt quite good after running the 200s before. So the leg speed was there, the activation was there. Yeah, that was around 76 average, 76, 77, which is about where I'm at. So that was good. There wasn't any reaction from that. So that was a good test. Being back in on the track. Then I went on but I had to get back on the treadmill. There was pretty heavy snow here, and it was quite hard to get any quality running done. So I did one session last week. I did one this week. I went back on the track again this Thursday. I put my spikes on for a few strides. It felt okay, so I carried on with but actually I did what did I do? Two 200s and a 400. And that was pretty good. I felt quite comfortable doing that. But there was a bit of reaction. The reaction more than the muscle reaction, so more just muscle soreness. So so it was -13. Yes.
So when you say reaction, you just mean like the kind of soreness you get when you go to the track and just run, not like oh, my Achilles has reacted. It's I've been on the track and spikes, it's reacted.
Yeah, it was the reaction that I wanted. Yeah, exactly. Just the muscular reaction you get from just having not. Yeah, and it's hard because I've managed to avoid that in recent years because I can get on the track and do strides once every 2 weeks, do a couple of, broken, but it's just very hard to get on the track at the moment. I have to go indoors and you've got to find the right time. So as much as I try to negate that soreness, it just happened. So the reason I've been doing a little, just getting on a track. Sorry, go on, Rich.
Well, I just got one follow-up question then. So given you got that soreness and you probably haven't been accustomed to having that lately, like last year or so, did you adjust anything afterwards in your training? Or did you just carry on and, suck it up?
Yeah, so I was planning to do 60 the next day. So I cut it down to 35. Just did an easy run, and I jogged back home as well. So but that was fine. Yesterday I just cross-trained because it was still a bit stiff. And so the reason I was doing these, kind of just getting inside, was I was planning to run a 3K today. But I decided against the 3K because it was quite late, and it was on at 6 o'clock, and it's about an hour and a half, hour 45 train journey away. So I didn't want to. So I switched to the 15, which is at 1 o'clock. And I was still a bit doubtful. It wasn't 100% this morning. I actually ran this morning. I found that's helped me when I've done sessions. I've just run in the morning before. That was okay. Got to the track, did some strides. It wasn't perfect, so I decided not to put spikes on. I just stuck with trainers. So I ran in just normal trainers. And yeah, I was kind of going from what I did on Thursday, going by and what I'd done the week before. I was aiming for, I think realistically aiming for about 70-second laps, so about 4:20, 4:22, that sort of range. And the clock was not that, it was on because it's 1500, it was on the 300 mark. That makes sense. So you had to work out. So I was trying to work the splits out in my head, but I ended up just ran and just raced. I don't know how to race. Didn't start too quickly. Picked it up the last. I felt it felt quite relaxed for the first couple of laps. It felt almost like it was 3K effort. And then I did pick up the last 3 laps. So, but I ran 4:23. So I was pleased with that. What I was going for is where I'm at, really. So yeah, and thankfully I think there's no issues with the Achilles. It felt good to be running quickly, good to be inside. and it's the only option to race here at the moment. There's nothing but indoor races, indoor race or nothing. So yeah, right. So yeah, that's my training. Pretty much, between 300, about 300, 5 hours of running, and then another sort of 90 minutes of cross training, sometimes whatever on top, 100 minutes. So it's not a lot, but it's enough.
I mean, you say it's not a lot, but it's some pretty big milestones. One is a indoor track race, which is a pretty high bar. You know, it's not like a 5K where, you know, you've got lower speed, so you have to do the work for that to kind of put yourself in that position with the fast work, and then do the race itself. You know, hearing you speak about it, my immediate thought was, man, you took some risks this week.
Yeah, you could say that. They were calculated risks.
I
I'd
do
say
say
that.
that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they were reckless, but they say
No.
Fortune favors the brave. It's one of my mottos. So
I mean, I look at it, it's like, if you've been going into, like, if you're, you know, coming off a track season and you're going into the indoor after like a build up of whatever you needed to do, then fine, it's fine. But I guess the comment I have is, you mentioned on the Thursday you had some soreness and you're not used to it. Fine. I think the adjustments you made in the recovery of the day after, rather than being an hour run, was like almost half that, and then you raced in trainers rather than spikes. I think they were sensible decisions. But yeah, I mean, it's great that it came out with something you expected. I think part of the reason I say it is I'm pretty far removed now from racing and training and carrying the kind of niggles and fatigue that I think every athlete is accustomed to just living with. You know, it's part of the game. But yeah, I mean, nice one.
yeah, as
Well
much
done.
as you, yeah, thank you. As much as you do say that, I was thinking, it's like you get that old neurotics that when you have a little bit of soreness, it becomes, I don't know, in your head, if you've got a race coming up and you're a bit anxious about the race anyway, it gets a bit magnified. So I was thinking, shall I just pull out because I don't need to do this. I'm doing it because I'd like to. I don't need to. It's not like I'm in peak form and you know I'm still kind of returning to full training. But I'm glad I did it.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, and that's always the thing. You're glad you do it, especially because you come out the other side, you know, with that experience. I'll tell you one brief story that kind of supports that position. When I was trying to get back to training after nearly a year of not really racing or training that hard, I was doing a session up in the hills in Oxford. And it was one of the sessions I used to do without batting an eyelid. It was really hard. It was long hills. There was tempo work before, tempo work after. And I was running with Dave Bruce, who's, you know, he's hardcore when it comes to the sessions, right?
Yeah.
So he's there with me, and I'm like, oh, you know, I've done like 6 hill reps out of 10 now. Yeah, I think I'm good. He says to me something like, well, at some point you're gonna have to do this. You know, you have to basically do these sessions, and either now or later or never, but you can't avoid it if you want to kind of compete seriously. So anyway, I knocked out the rest of the session, and I survived, right? And then you cross the threshold, right?
Yeah. It's a barrier. It's a psychological barrier. Yeah.
You put out all the excuses in those moments, every single excuse. Oh, next time, or the niggle's back, or you know, next time I'll be fitter, or it's been a hard week. Blah 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 blah. Just run up a hill 4 more times, man.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal, is it? Just get it done. Stop complaining. Get it done.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway.
Right. Okay. Let's start. So we're gonna deep dive training talk, which I forgot to mention at the start. We're gonna focus on my training. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to give listeners an insight into what I plan to do we call it the short term. The short term. So short term is that I've got a 3,000 meter indoor race in the 27th of January, so pretty much 6 weeks away. In between that, there's a cross country race, 12K cross country race. So neither of these, I would, you know, particularly as much as I want to do well, that they are sort of steps on the way towards full fitness. So I don't expect to be at my best necessarily, but I'd like to have a goal. Richard.
Sorry, you said it's a 12K race, and what else? I missed that.
So there's a 3,000-meter race at the end of January, and then in between that,
Yeah.
there's the Middlesex Cross Country Champs, which is 12K, which is in
Where is it
early
this year?
Horsenden Hill.
Oh man, I never raced there. I think if I
Yeah.
did, I can't remember.
It's pretty
Is it
boggy.
basically just fields?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I always think of Matt Carey and I think of Horsenden Hill.
Do you?
I don't know why.
Okay.
I just think of like relays. There was a relay race there, wasn't there?
Was there? Oh,
This is 20 years
yes,
ago.
there was.
So,
Yes, you're right. Yeah, the Ealing Relays. Yeah. They stopped that race, so that was in early winter. Yeah, so it was quite dry when. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You're correct.
okay.
Yeah, they stopped that. Yeah. Anyway, so those are my two goals. I think the 3K one is a bit more. There can be a clearer goal in terms of a time goal. So I'm putting it out there. I'm going to try and aim for 8:45. It may be a bit ambitious. It would mean me holding the same pace I ran today for another 1,500 meters. And my thoughts are how I'm going to achieve that is, well, basically just stay fit, to continue with strength and conditioning, continue to be sensible with training. So not necessarily do a session just because of the session. Gradually increase the running that I'm doing, the overall volume. I think I need to get longer runs in. My longest run has been 80, and like do enough top end like aerobic work. So working between sort of 10K to marathon effort more frequently, which I'm doing in bits, but again, I'm still building up to I think I'm on about 25 minutes worth of work at the moment, broken down. So those are the three things that I'm looking at. Of course, I don't think doing too many specific 3K sessions are going to help me that much at the moment. I think what I'm lacking is a lot of just getting back to consistent, decent weeks of running, but also those longer sort of sessions, between 10 to marathon effort. It just to really bring up my aerobic capacity. Those are my thoughts. How realistic it is to do in 6 weeks is another thing. The really only marker. I mean, I can do a 2K next Monday, but that's a week away. I'm kind of edging towards giving that a miss and just get some training done. Richard, your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess my first thought is give me a bigger goal than running a 3K at the end of January, and what is it?
A bigger goal would be, it is the Masters World Championships in Gothenburg in August.
August, okay.
Next August. So I'm contemplating 3K chase or 5K, one of the two. The training is quite similar in terms of the running training. It's just if I have any issues with the Achilles, I won't do the 3K chase. So I need to be confident that I'm, got a very strong Achilles. I've done some hurdle work. So yeah, that would be the goal. I'd like to be running under 15 minutes. I think it's a good chance of me getting a medal.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's in 8 months.
So that's a long time after this January race. I guess the other question I have then is, given where you are in progressing your training now, because I know you've introduced sessions, that first one you did in the spikes was only, a few days ago. How much time do you think is reasonable for you to continue progressing your training volume and intensity to a kind of steady state? How many weeks do you need for that?
Yeah, I think 6 weeks is probably too little. I don't think I can get
Well,
that to.
it's not about it being too little. It's just like
Mm,
take away that 3K for the moment
yeah,
and just look at the progress of your training, because obviously you've built up to something where you've gone for a race, you've been pretty, happy with it. You've raced in a way that you thought was within expectations. You come out the other side. So taking that philosophy forward, because obviously you're gonna have to progress the training to get towards your August competitions. What's a safe, sensible progression of training, and how long does it take? Forget the 3K for the moment.
yeah. So, like at the moment, if I'm running, say, I'm running 6 days a week. So that's depends between 45 to 60 minutes. That would, yeah, I'd need to be doing I'd introduce some double days to top up the running. I'd need to do build the longer runs up as well. So yeah, I think at least probably 2 months would be a more that would be a kind of gradual progression where there's less risk involved. At least 2 months, and then you're kind of getting back to where I would say that's training I can handle. Then it's a matter of like maintaining that training, which is where
So how far away are you from double daying, do you reckon?
I have done some already, but I wouldn't say they were like very. I've done what I do one. I've done one double day a week. I did one this
Okay.
week, last week. So yeah, well,
Was it
normally
two steady runs or
yeah, they're just
was
two
it
steady
running
ones. Yeah.
sessions?
Well, I've done.
Okay.
See, the issue with the session is that I have to fit the session in at lunchtime. So then essentially, I run in the morning. I just do a
Okay.
warm up. So it's really, I wouldn't really call that a double day. It's more like a. But I have done double days, but yeah, 40 and 20 or 35 and 30. I've done those, yeah, steady ones. So
Yeah.
not a morning run and a session in the evening or vice versa. I haven't done anything like that yet.
Okay. So let me recap a couple of things and then tell you what I think.
Yeah.
So you've got races available end of January. The 12K is a ridiculous idea off the bat because it's so far away from.
Yeah.
I know it's tempting, but I don't think it fits, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't even fit in the context of August because I know what those races are like and they need to be respected, especially because, it's on the mud and it's in spikes and it's, 40 odd minutes of running. It's a big risk for, if you're going to say to me, oh, you want to run inter-counties and you got a chance of getting to that team, fine. You reframe the whole of the next 4 months of, training to be cross country, right? But that's not what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, August is where you want to get to for the 5K or 3K steeplechase. January, end of January is far enough before that for you to make a lot of changes. And you don't need to be firing on all cylinders in January either.
No, yeah.
I think there just needs to be a good foundation of training. I would say this. Okay, you've doubled once a week. Don't go reaching for more than once a week doubling, right? And just introduce the kind of structure and sessions that you would expect in 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks of sessions, and spread it out over the 7 to 8 weeks you're going to have, or maybe 7 by now, because there'll be a taper. And then go into that 3K and say, right, give it a whack, and that will give you a good benchmark for how to build into the summer, because you'll have February, March, April. You'll be able to progress the training still. Hopefully your Achilles will be something you're far more confident with. And you'll have room. You'll have room physically as well as, mentally, right? And I would even go so far as to say, expect to run that 3K in racing flats. And if there are other races in between, forget the 12K, by all means, consider them. That 2K seems just too soon, right? But if that 2K was in January, I'd say get stuck in.
Yeah.
As for the sessions to do, as for the sessions to do, don't do 3K sessions. Do
No,
the
absolutely.
breadth of work that you normally do.
Yeah. No, exactly. Well, I know previously, there is a 15, the first point, there is a 15 before the 3K, the week before that 3K.
Then get started, then do that.
Yeah, I was planning to do that. Yeah, and absolutely, you're spot on. Exactly what I was thinking, that I haven't ever, like, I've run 3Ks indoors before. I've not done specific training for it. Maybe just done, a couple of 100s, 200s, 300s every now and then, just to keep in touch with it. But in terms of sessions, they've always been 5K up, that real aerobic stuff. So supporting it from.
Yeah, I'll say one other thing, just from my experience, talking to you over the years, is that you do very well of simple training, right? As in, focus on each element, bite off something you can chew well. That's in terms of volume and diversity of training. And then, I've noticed that you often try and do a lot of different paces. That's fine. I think that's a good approach going forward. Looking further ahead, I think specificity towards the 5K or the steeplechase is something to adapt in the training, as well as doing more volume with double daying. But between now and end of January, which is only 50 days really, right? Less than that. That's 7 weeks. 2 of those weeks are either taper, or because you're just tired, you missed a few days here and
sick
there.
or injured, or
so you've only got 4 weeks of training, man. You got maybe 8 to 10 sessions. Set them up and then plan them out, do them, and then your instincts, the rest of it.
No, that's good advice, and I think that's summarized quite well. It's just getting a breadth of training again, just keeping in touch with stuff, and then when the fitness comes and when the real goal in August arrives, like prepare for that with more specific training when you feel like
I also don't think 840 something is unrealistic here.
No, it's we're just. I think the issue is that I would say that I could probably break 16 minutes now, which is okay, but I would need to be running 15:30, which is far away, but not that far away. That will come. Because the training I'm doing is not really. It's still about 70% of what I've done before. Of course, you can't always compare what you've done before to now. I do have to adapt things. You do need stimulus, need to change. So I will interested to see how I do. But I think the key thing, having been injured for quite a lot of the last year, is just to stay fit as well. Just keep putting the weeks together. Find a way to get the training done. Take each week at a time. I think it's a good motto as well. Right. Okay. Thanks, Richard. Thanks for your advice. As you say, even a coach needs a coach, because they are too involved with their training. They need someone to bounce off. And Richard, you've always been very good at that, and being honest as well. No messing. Just telling me that's the idea and that's the idea. Bleeps inputted. Okay, right. We've come to the end of this week's episode. Thank you, Richard, for your advice. We'll see whether I take it, whether I stick to it, and we will speak again soon.
I look forward to it.